Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of those who are tuning in today to today's broadcast. My name is Brother Andrew. I will be one of your main hosts for our broadcast today. And joining with me is
I'm Brother Vince Hamias from the local congregation of Anaheim.
I forgot to mention I also am from the local
Anaheim.
congregation of
How can you
Anaheim.
forget that?
I know. And here we are tuning in or broadcasting from our district studio, our INCRadio studio here in the district office in Anaheim. And not it's not just us two
No,
who
it's not
are
just.
here with us today. We also have a very, very special guest who we will introduce to you right now. So brother, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brother Jethro, and I'm from the locale of Lakewood, California.
Woo! So, if you are from Lakewood, please feel free to give a shout out to hashtag Lakewood in the comments section below.
Mhm.
And if you are tuning in, please also join us for our hashtag challenge. You can just mention hashtag and then your local, and we will poll and see who are our top three local congregations at the end of our broadcast. But other than that, we have a very, very exciting broadcast because we have a special guest,
Mhm.
but also because we have a very cool topic that I know nothing about.
Same.
So, so it's going to be a great learning experience. So what is our topic for today, Brother Vince?
It's about career in focus.
Mm-hmm.
And the focus will be accounting.
Ooh,
Ooh.
accounting. I don't know how to count, so this is.
It sends shivers down my spine.
So
Math.
this will be a great broadcast for us. Again, uh, feel free to mention below and comment below and join us in our live chat. But moving on to our main discussion, and we wanna give the floor to our brother
Yes.
Jethro. Tell us more about yourself. What's your background? Where are you from? What school did you go to? Anything you want to mention about yourself?
So, first off, everyone knows accounting is very, very interesting to a
I
lot of
agree.
people, right?
Very fun.
Yeah. But so a little bit about myself is that I live in Bellflower, California. I've been there for 6 years, so that's why I'm also in the locale of Lakewood, because that's where we were zoned. So I've been with the locale of Lakewood for 6 years. I am a choir member in our locale. I'm also a CWS organist in our locale
Oh,
too,
wow.
and I'm working
Nice.
towards becoming an adult organist pretty
Nice,
soon.
nice.
And
Nice.
shout out to our locale choir over there in Lakewood. One other thing about me is that I went to Cal State Fullerton.
Oh,
There we
wow.
go. Go Titans. Yeah,
Titans.
Cal State Fullerton. They have one of the best accounting.
That's right.
Accounting and also business schools in, I believe it was the country.
Yes.
And so that's where I graduated. I just graduated last year with a bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in accounting.
Wow. So first
Congratulations.
off, congratulations on graduating. We're very proud of you and your accomplishments. And also, if you want to represent, I know you said you were from Cal State Fullerton. Some people here today are on set who are with us for our tech, and our director is from Cal State Fullerton. So feel free to mention where you're from in the chat, where you went from school, which local you're from. And Brother Vince, what other questions do we have for
Yes,
our
and
guest?
since you mentioned that you just graduated, what field did you graduate in, brother?
Accounting.
Accounting.
So just to like give a maybe like to take it back a step, because I know you mentioned you graduated from accounting, but maybe we can look through your past before you even decided to go to college. Why did you choose accounting in the first place?
So accounting was not my first option when I first got out
Really?
of
Oh,
high
really?
school. Obviously, when we were in high school, we're thinking like, oh, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to do. It doesn't really hit you until you're actually in that position in college, where you actually have to make an actual decision. When I was in high school, I was telling everyone, oh, I'm going to be a civil engineer. I'm going to be studying engineering all throughout. And then sometime, because I started at community college and transferred out to Cal State Fullerton. So sometime during my community college, that's when I realized maybe civil engineering isn't for me. I remember I got to Calculus 2 when I was at Pasadena City College. And when I got to Calculus 2, that's when I realized, no, engineering is not for me. And so it takes a little time, and it took a little time for me to figure it out. I took a break because sometimes you just need to take a break and figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized I started to work a little bit more, got a little bit more exposure to the different fields, and that's when I realized, okay, accounting is something that I'm interested in, and business administration is something I'm interested in. So once I got to Long Beach City College, that's when I realized, oh, accounting is something that I want to focus on.
Okay.
Cool.
And what types of like job did you have experience in before you have your current role right now?
So before I started working at my firm called Murphy and Murphy's, I started out as servers, so food service, customer service, working with different people. And then eventually, throughout the years, I went up in management. So I went up to shift lead, I went up to assistant manager at one point. And then at one point also, I was working with the corporate office of one of my companies. And so they were sending me to different locations throughout the state and even throughout the country, just opening up and training people and making sure that the restaurants that I worked at or that I was stationed at were operating at their level of expectations. So that was all when I was at 19. And then after that, I moved on to accounting and then continued in food services until I graduated.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I like the fact that you mentioned that you like took a break and you didn't force yourself or pressure yourself into continuing on a path that you didn't necessarily see yourself in the future. And I know you mentioned before that you got like different types of exposure before you got into accounting. Can I like get a little like maybe like double click on that topic? Like what types of exposure?
So
like, how did you find accounting?
So different types of exposure is really through different extracurricular activities that I did during school. I was on the school newspaper. I was also on the school broadcasting too. So I had a little bit of experience there. And then once I got into the food service industry, that's when I realized like, oh, management is something that I actually kind of want to be doing. The reason why I focused on civil engineering first was because when I was young, I would always like to play with little Legos and putting all that stuff all together. But then realizing that putting an actual building together, an actual bridge together is not as fun. But one thing that my experiences is in management and dealing with people, dealing with different customers that come in, is that it really opens your eyes to the different possibilities that we have too.
Yeah, and that's very, very. I love the way that you phrased it. The way that you came from here and then you worked your way up, right? And now moving forward to accounting, you found accounting. What about accounting? Let's focus on school maybe at first. When you were in Cal State Fullerton, you were doing your business admin degree and with a focus on accounting. What not difficulties, but what are some of the obstacles that you had or that challenged you during your time during school?
So during school, especially in the last couple of years, the biggest obstacle really was when we were all in lockdown, COVID. We were all in online classes. Even though we all enjoyed it to some degree, it's kind of different when we had to learn and do all the learning online. Accounting, I can say, is a very flexible and very how do you say it? Other than that, it's flexible. So you can go into different fields using accounting. There's corporate accounting, tax accounting, cost accounting also. And you can pretty much work in any industry that requires accounting. Anything from the military, all the way to the government, all the way to just regular corporate accounning too. So that's one thing that is very difficult, is that you have to try to find your niche and where you want to go.
Yeah, that I did not know how widespread accounting could be. So now you've explained to us like the different types of accounting. What, if I may ask, like what type of accounting what path did you end up going after?
So I had a little bit of experience in audit because I went through an audit with one of the corporations that I worked with before. I also had a little bit of experience in corporate accounting, but I eventually decided to stick with tax accounting.
Got
Yeah.
it. Can you kind of briefly explain what auditing kind of is?
So, to my knowledge,
for a layman like me,
to my knowledge, auditing is basically making sure that the company is reporting correct financial statements
got it.
and making sure that all the numbers that are on their financial statements match exactly what is going on in the company.
Okay.
It's basically giving you like a little bit of pretty much like a health check on how the company is doing.
Got it. Cool. And what do you like about you mentioned tax accounting, right? Or
Yes, tax
What
accounting.
do you like about tax? Because I know you mentioned auditing and then corporate accounting.
Mhm.
What made you lean towards tax accounting?
One thing that I really love about tax accounting is that it's not just all taxes. In tax accounting, you get to work with the actual clients and you get to actually see where they are personally. I've seen people that are in all stages of their life. So from the very beginning, from the first time that they're filing taxes to the very end where they're filing their last tax return.
Wow.
So I've seen people that started filing their taxes to actually from filing single to married filing jointly to married filing jointly with dependents. That means they are getting married and they're having kids. They're having they're buying houses. They're buying cars. I've seen people start businesses. I've seen businesses go up. I've seen businesses go down. And I've seen people in all stages of their life, whether they're healthy, whether they're sick. And it just puts everything into perspective. And it is really eye-opening and also very humbling too.
Yeah, I think I did not know that taxing could be very wholesome. No, but that's a wonderful thing that you mentioned that because at least for me, when I view like taxing and accounting, it's all very like monotone, robotic. I like the way that you portrayed it, where it's a very warm feeling too, that you can gain connections with the people and the clients that you have. And so I'm just curious because I know you mentioned that you graduated last year. Like, what was the timeline for you? Because you did auditing and then corporate accounting and then tax accounting, right? Like how, because you've only graduated for a year, so how fast did you like go through like all of these different types of accounting?
So if I start from my very first internship, it's actually at the place where I started working. The experience from going from my internship to where I am today has been very eye-opening and very humbling at the same time. I remember when I was going through school and all my classmates were all just talking about, oh, I have an internship here at this firm. I have an internship here. And I'm just there just chilling, just enjoying my my college days. And then that's when I realized, oh, okay, I actually have to start making some decisions and making some moves.
Yeah.
So that's when I actually included it in my personal prayers for me to be able to get an internship. So once I started including that in my personal prayers, that's when our Almighty God started guiding me towards the path that I was supposed to take. And I didn't have anyone outside of my own self to actually guide me. It was more of trial and error and figure out what worked out for me. So as I was going through the actual looking for an internship process, it got to the point where I wasn't really hearing anything back, but I kept on praying and I kept on keeping it in my prayers. And then eventually it just all hit all at once. I believe it was 3 different offers.
Wow.
And then at that point, when I got those 3 different offers, it was like, which one do I choose?
Yeah.
Right. So that's when I decided,
It's a good
you know what,
problem to
before I make that choice, that's when I decided, okay, let me pray really quick and then ask God to guide me to the place that you want me to go and the place that you have for me.
Yes.
And then right even before I ended the prayer, that's when I knew through the whole interview process and through all my experiences with all the different firms I was with, the firm that I decided to go for was the one that our Almighty God had for me too.
Wow.
So I went through the internship after I chose it, and then after the internship, that's when I finished the internship throughout
Mhm.
it was my last semester of college, and then after that I finished college,
Mhm.
and then I took a little break. They didn't offer me a full-time position just yet,
Mhm.
which was pretty typical for them too, because you would typically have to wait like 5-6 months for you to hear back.
Mhm.
But during that time that I was not in a job or anything, that's when I decided to, okay, gonna take a break. I've been
Mhm.
going to school for how many years
Yeah,
already?
right.
I feel that.
I went on vacations. I went and enjoyed time with my
Mhm.
family. I went traveling. So, and then when I got back, one of the sisters in our locale was able to help me get a 1099 job, which is basically a contract job as an accountant
Mhm.
in her company. And that's when I got my experience in corporate accounting. And that
Ah,
was
I see.
about
Okay,
4 months after I graduated.
that's
Mhm.
pretty
And
cool.
then from there, that's when I got my experience in like how they do audits and how they do corporate accounting. And then sometime in November, that's when I got the call back. Jethro, this is so and so from this firm.
Yeah.
We would like to offer you a full-time position starting in the next couple months, and then
Yeah.
just give if you want it, let us know. And I remember specifically not jumping too much
Mhm.
onto the offer. I remembered I asked them, "Can you give me a day to think about it?"
Yeah.
And then right after that, I included it in my prayers.
Of
Mhm.
course. That's
And
nice.
then once I knew, like, okay, and with full confidence, this is where I'm supposed to go, that's when I said yes and accepted the offer.
Yes. And that leads you to be here. This is
Yes,
where you are,
yes.
right? This is present moment, Brother Jethro.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful story,
Mhm.
and I really love the fact that you included, like, you know, it it was the challenges that you faced with
Mhm.
not having any internship opportunities and then having so many offers at once.
Mhm.
Um, so it's wonderful to see like the progress and the amount
Mhm.
of help that our Almighty God has given us. And I think this is a good question to kind of ask, because you yourself have went through this entire the job market, finding an internship. Like, what advice would you be able to give to those who are kind of in the same position as you? They might be college students right now, and or they might have just graduated. What type of advice would you like to give?
I have two major types of advice that I would like to give. When it comes to actually looking for a job, you can learn how to make a resume. You can learn how
Mm,
to do interviews. You can learn how to talk. You can learn how to dress. You can have the best education in the world,
Mm.
and you can be very well connected. But in the job market, and especially how the economy is today, you can still find yourself unemployed. So
yeah.
that is one thing that everyone should keep in mind.
Mhm.
But one thing as members of the Church of Christ that we have as an advantage is our power of prayer.
Yes.
So, with our help of our Almighty God, even if the economy goes under, or even
Yeah.
if you're not able to find a job,
Mhm.
if you keep it in your prayers, then He'll be able to provide you the things that you need.
That's true.
Yes.
And then that is one thing that I have found to be very evident in my
Mhm.
life too.
Mhm.
Um, One thing, the next one that I want to give advice to is when you're in your personal prayers and when you're actually saying them to our Almighty God, ask for Him to give you a place that will let you perform your duties.
Mm.
I am very proud to say that the job that I am at, I am able to not only talk about my faith, but also perform my
Mm.
duties in all aspects, from choir to Kadiwa officer. And it's to the point where I am able to tell my manager, hey, I need to perform a wedding in less than 24 hours. I just got a notification from my choir leader, and literally their only response is, okay, go.
Yeah.
Take care of it. We'll got the work from here. Take the time that you need and go do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And it's also to the point where a lot of my coworkers come up to me and they ask, Jethro, we are in the height of tax season, working
Mhm.
60 hours a week. How are you still able to perform the things that
Yeah.
you do for your church and still come in with a smile?
Yeah.
So it's very humbling, and if you're able to find that place that respects your faith and also asks you questions about your faith too, that is where you know that this is where our Almighty God wants you to be.
And you're in the right place, especially right now. We're very thankful that you are able to talk about your experiences here in our INCRadio broadcast here today. But thank you for all of your stories, your advice. We do have another segment in just a little bit. It'll be a very fun segment. I promise. Or so I've heard. It was an easy segment, but we'll see. But before we go to that, Brother Vince, I believe we have a few comments and shout-outs.
We have a couple of shout-outs to our ministers in the chat. We have Brother Calvin Indionco, Brother Ron De Mesa and Sister Lauren De Mesa, Brother Andy Nicolas and Sister Amy Nicolas. Thank you so much, po, for joining us in our broadcast today. Now, Brother Andrew, are you ready for this?
Okay, for context, we're nervously laughing right now because our next segment, I'm gonna read it. It says, a friendly competition of solving some of the most common mathematical scenarios. Mathematical scenarios. Common. These better be common.
But hey, you guys will also be able to do it with us. So
lovely.
Yes.
So we're all in this together,
we're
everyone.
All in this together.
You guys better put your answers in the chat. Okay. Are these okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do not look at the back. I've heard. Okay, so this is our first. Don't look at the back.
That's our first.
Okay, this is our first equation. 5 minus 6 x times 0 equals. Hey, you guys answered already. It's the question mark. That's the answer. But, all right. So do we have a timer, or are we just gonna go? Okay, we're gonna go. All right.
I really hope I get this one right.
No cheating. No.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay. Are we all ready to show our answers? All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, so we all have different answers.
We all have different answers.
Brother Vince, do you wanna?
That's just a joke, don't worry.
And Brother Jethro, do you wanna explain?
I get scared with math, so.
So the last time I did PEMDAS was when I was in, I think, middle school. So I was always, parentheses, what was it?
Exponents,
multiplication,
division, addition, subtraction.
Yeah. And then one thing they also told me was you also work from right or left to right. So when you work left to right and you do that, you end up with 0. But
I love it. Well, okay. 5. Let's see the answer. It is.
Oh, it's
5.
Okay.
Because we do multiplication first. Okay.
That's right.
Next question. How much time do we have? Okay, we got time.
Okay.
It's a little bit more difficult. 18 minus 6 times 5.
Dang it.
It's right there. Hold on, y'all. I gotta show my work.
Okay.
Oh shoot. I did that. Okay, I'm ready.
Boom.
No.
Showed my work.
All right. Okay.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Show your work. Okay. How did we all get the same answer on a harder problem? All right, let's see.
The first one was a review. Didn't count.
Negative 12.
Negative 12.
Nice. Okay. We got how many more?
It was a review.
All right.
This is the last one. Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
We have one more. Or I don't know how many we have left, but this is 1. 3 times, and then here comes the parentheses. 4 plus 2 and parentheses. All right, let's begin our work. I got. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are we all ready to show our work? Good.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Yeah. Guys,
Wow.
we got it, guys.
Yeah.
My confidence is going sky high right now.
Does this mean we can do accounting now?
Yeah, it really does.
But,
Two
oh,
more.
okay, two more.
more.
Two more.
Two more.
I didn't
Okay.
study for this math
All
quiz
right.
today.
3 squared
Oh, man.
minus 2 cubed times 3. We're gonna put this right here.
Wait, what?
Let's if you guys in the audience are able to answer, I can't see the audience, but I hope you guys are joining along with us
Ew.
in our game today.
I hope this is right.
Me too.
Don't worry.
Okay, are we all ready?
Hold on.
Are we
Okay.
all
I
ready?
think. Okay, ready?
All right. 3,
2,
2, 1. Hey,
Got it.
nice. Oh,
Oh.
okay. I like how Brother Vince has PEMDAS on top.
Reminder, it's a
It's a
reminder.
good reminder. Okay, let's also let's see the answer. 3.
3.
So we're on a roll. Other than the first one, we don't
count that one. That was practice.
That was a practice round.
Last
Last
one.
one.
Last
oh,
one.
oh my.
That's a lot of 5s right there. 5 times 5 divided by 5 plus 5 minus 5.
Oh,
You're rapping? 5
PEMDAS, y'all.
minus 5. So, no parentheses.
I think they like it too much.
25 equals 5 plus 5 minus 5. Okay.
Mm.
So 5.
Oh. Okay. I'm ready.
I
don't
hope
need a,
this is right.
I don't need a double
I
check.
hope
my
this
work.
is right. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Boom.
5.
Yeah.
If the 5 is an answer, I'm gonna be very surprised. It is 5.
Five.
Okay,
Nice.
that's our last question. But I do have one personal math question I want to ask everyone. What's 9 plus 10? Oh, just kidding. But thank you, Brother Jethro, and to my
Thank you
co-host,
so
Brother
much.
Vince, for joining me and all of our viewers to our game today. We would like to mention a few of our highlights of past activities before we go to our closing. So for our past activity, we have our September 7 local congregation of Riverside's 50th anniversary, and our upcoming activities are our monthly meetings and our upcoming songs of salvation as well. And before we go, we have our weekly live chat. So if you can get a drum roll, please. For number 3, it is the local congregation of Cerritos.
Cerritos.
Number 2, it is Riverside. And then drum roll for number 1.
Number 1.
It is the local of Moreno Valley. To all of our locals who participated. Now we'll be moving on to our closing.
Yes, and we want to say a special thanks to our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, our district minister, Brother Hansel F. De Dios, our district CFO overseer, Brother Andy Nicolas, and our executive producer, Brother Emmanuel Andaya. And that does it for our broadcast for this morning. Actually, before we go, we want to say a special happy birthday to our district minister. Happy birthday po, Brother Hansel de Dios.
And that's it for our broadcast. Stay tuned for INCRadio San Diego.
This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.